And we're live. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Just thought I'd do a little stream. I was kind of sitting here bored anyway. Like nobody I know is streaming at the moment. And, I just felt like talking, you know. Sometimes I do that. I don't even know if these little impromptu, out of character streams are even entertaining, but I like to put my thoughts out into the ether. And it's good practice for some plans I have for the future to do more, kind of more of a solo thing, as far as as far as like a channel for me, like for me out of character. Like I'm thinking about, instead of doing these beyond the Magogs, I'm thinking about leaving Magog of Morscar live streams for Sidequest and pretty much anything I do in character, and starting like a whole new podcast where I can just be me and bring on guests and talk about interesting things and stuff like that. But also, if I don't have a good guest, still do the podcast and be able to, I don't know, pull up articles and read them, or pull up emails or something like that, and get kind of used to talking to myself, I guess you could say. I know I'm talking to people, because there's people watching and listening and stuff like that. But so, Vladimir Dragunov, here's some money. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, money is the talk of the town on YouTube right now. Like, how do we make money? How do we continue to do this with YouTube acting the way it does? It's it's a big problem. Even right now, I'm probably looking at least a part-time job in the next in 3 months. I can survive for 3 months, and after that, if I'm not making enough on Patreon or super chats from the live streams or whatever, I'm gonna be pretty much done on YouTube full time. There's just no way I can live off of $1,300 a month on Patreon. That's a lot of money too. I'm very thankful to everybody who gives, but I just don't make the money off ads. Some people do. It's not as good as the old days, but some people that have like hundreds of thousands of subs actually can still pull off some decent ad money. It may not be as much as the good old days, but it's enough to survive, especially with people like Sticks or Monday Matt doing 3 videos a day. They can pull off some, $800-900 a month off ads alone. And then if they have Patreon or whatever, that's full time, But for me, I'm just not making the money. I opened the GoFundMe to kind of kick things off to get people interested in the show. I only set it for 10,000, which is really high. I probably should have just set it at like 2,000, but I set it at 10,000 because that would be like a great starter goal for me to not only have a little money in the bank to stave off having to get a job, but to also buy some equipment and stuff for when the studio is built and be able to do some professional lighting and build multiple sets, not just one Wizard Tower set, actually have multiple sets for Magog to interact with, and Poe could have his own little like bird cage thing or something, But for the most part, that doesn't look like it's going to work out. I know I just started the GoFundMe, but so far from what I'm seeing, it's just not something people are really interested in. And it was good I tried, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. People are more than, charitable when it comes to people in need. Like Beard Barian was about to be put out on the streets, and so he was able to raise like $7,000. And that's because he was in dire straits. I'm trying to raise money for like equipment and to do a better show. And I don't think people are as on board with that. And that's fine. I'll find another way to build up the momentum towards the bigger show, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, yeah, because I mean, I'm going to have to get a job in about 3 months by the end of the summer. So, um, hey, dude says, call the channel not Magog. Yeah, sure. The thing is with my personal channel, I really don't want it to have any real connection to Magog at all. You know, like I don't want to only be known for Magog, you know, even though I love Magog and Poe and what I've created and everything that I plan on doing in my life is surrounding that character. When it comes to the more personal podcasts, I really want people to get to know me and not have it predicated on, oh, you're Magog, you know. But I might not be able to live that down. Who knows? You know how these things are. Look at Monday Matt and TJ Kirk. You know, they started out with internet names and then they got tired of them and tried to rebrand and it didn't work. You know, like TJ's always going to be the amazing atheist. Just the way it is. You know. Is there going to be ways to help by donating building materials, gear, and etc., etc., as well as the GoFundMe? Maybe in the future, but right now we're not even close to building the village. If you go to the GoFundMe, it shows step by step what needs to happen, and we're on like step 1 right now. Get the studio built out on the land. After that, then I'll have like an address you can send stuff like that to, and you know, and stuff like that. I mean, I'd be willing to look into that heavy fisted, but I don't think. I don't think that it's going to be anytime soon. I mean, I can't even raise a bare minimum amount to buy new equipment for the indoors. So there's no way I can raise enough money to build the village. So even if you guys sent me a bunch of, you know, wood and building materials, it wouldn't help. You know, I still need money, and I still need to figure out how to build it. I still need to pay somebody to like properly clear the land and all that stuff. It's just not something I can do by myself. I can get out there with a chainsaw and it'd take me a year. You guys don't realize how thick the woods is on my land. It's a fucking jungle, you know. We gotta get some bulldozers to knock the trees down. Fuck cutting them. You know, they're all pines anyway. Pines, well, you could just roll over a pine if you have a bulldozer. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to kind of just kind of talk about that kind of stuff, you know, because I realize that a lot of it is. Hold on a second. I'm having a malfunction with the pop-out chat. The pop-out chat does not like me. Pop-out chat does not like me. Fuck you, pop-up chat. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk out loud, I guess. I have not. I hopped on a stream last night. Well, it wasn't a stream. It was an after hours. They invited me to the cunt stream, but I couldn't make it. I was helping a buddy out with something. But I hopped in there anyway and was able to talk a little bit to people, but everybody was also in there cracking jokes and stuff like that. And so was I. I'm not judging, but I couldn't really get some of this stuff off my chest. And I always had the feeling that I just don't have a big enough following to raise the kind of money needed to do this show the way I really want it to be done. It's probably going to take years to build up to. And the numbers on the GoFundMe are definitely a perfect example of that. But it's a good learning experience, and the people who have donated, I am eternally grateful. And I'll figure out a way to thank everybody personally, because there was only like 30 people who donated. So I should be able to like send them all messages. But I don't think that I have a big enough following to raise the kind of money needed to actually build this show. Like, I set the goal on the GoFundMe for the lowest number I could think of to get me started. And I haven't even reached a percentile of it. So it's just, it was a pipe dream to raise the kind of money I needed. It's probably going to have to come from other sources. I'm going to have to get a job. You know, if people aren't going to donate to the Patreon and make Magog my full-time gig, I'm going to have to get a job and make Magog my part-time gig, and then use the money from the job to, you know, save. So, Vladimir Dragunov, check out a site, Cold Swords of Might. Hey, that rhymes, for props. Yeah, I will. Thanks. Bullwinkle's in the chat. Hello, Magog and Magogonites. A wild fox appears. Get yourself a bush hog. Yeah, brush hog will do it. Unfortunately, it's not just the underbrush. The trees are so close together, you can't get a brush hog back in there. I have a tractor and I have a finishing mower and a brush hog, but you can't get it. You can't get through the trees. Trees are like stacked on top of each other. These southern pines here, they grow like weeds. They grow 6-7 foot a year, and they'll fucking sit there and grow right next to each other because they don't even have a root system. It's just a tap root, you know. So they don't even eat each other. You know, like a big hardwood tree will like kill everything around it. It'll choke it out. But these pines, man, they'll grow right next to each other, man. They don't give a fuck. It's like a wall. Yep. If you need manual labor, I'm sure I'm not the only one willing to cross state lines to lend a hand. Seeking Origin. I've definitely had that offer, and I really appreciate it. And when the day comes that it's time to build the village, I will put it out there that if anybody wants to come help, you know, you'll get a credit, and I'll buy beer. You know, we'll do a cookout. We'll have a bonfire. You know, Renaissance. What is that? Renaissance logist. I don't know what that word is. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Most girls who have sex with Magog are disappointed afterwards when they find out he doesn't actually have any candy. Hope this vexes you. This vexes me. Good for you, 3,000 gives $20. Thanks, man. Don't give up, man. Sounds like Kenny Rogers and looks like fat Macaulay Culkin. Thanks. I'm not giving up. I'm just stating the truth, the facts. I mean, it's been coming for a long time. I even mentioned it while I was in school. Once school was up, the GI Bill was done. I wasn't going to get that money anymore. I had already told people that if I wasn't making enough, this was not going to be possible. And it looks like that's the way it's going to go, because it doesn't look like I can even raise enough money to put in my bank account and have, you know, a slightly bigger cushion than I already have, because the money I have in the bank right now is for my mutual fund I cashed out, and that's going to go towards building the studio. So I'm already investing in my new YouTube life. I'm already investing another 20 grand. And without that 20 grand, I wouldn't even be able to build the studio, because I got to give that to my parents to help them build the place, because they're getting the loan for the rest of it, you know? So essentially I'm buying the property and they're building the building for me, because I can't line up a mortgage because my credit score is good and I made decent money last year, but they were like, you make money on the internet. We don't trust that. So they denied my loan, you know? Dude, almost 10% of goal in under a day on a long weekend. I think you're a little too anxious about it. You may be right, but the thing is, it's not a long weekend to everybody. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's an American thing. Half my damn audience is overseas. And nobody's really watching the video, and nobody really, you know, it's not that I'm complaining about the donations. I'm just readjusting my plan is all. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I really sold this thing over the past couple months, getting on live streams, talking about the great future of the channel. And I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I'm not bummed out. I am eternally grateful for everybody who's ever donated to me. That's not what this is about. It's more about, I really sold this thing, and I more feel bad that I oversold this. I got everybody excited about this future Magog TV show with like a medieval village and actors and characters and scripts. And I feel like it's possible that it's just going to be kind of it's going to be less than that. It's going to be disappointing. I didn't want to disappoint you guys. Like, I'm still going to do the show. Even if I have to get a part-time job, I'm still going to do Magog. It's just not going to be full-time, and it's probably not going to be as ambitious as future projects probably aren't going to be as ambitious as my original. And that's all. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I mean, I know the GoFundMe's only been up for like a day. And I'm not sitting there expecting, $30,000 in a night. Like some people can do a GoFundMe and it'll just be like, there's $100K in it, like I wasn't expecting that at all anyway, but I don't really think I can meet the goals set forth for doing the show. Cause if I can't, even if I made 10 grand, even if out of nowhere, the long weekend gets over and people start donating or whatever, that is literally the bare minimum. I already have calculated that I'm going to need at least $80,000 to start the show, to actually build the village and to get all the costumes and the props and to hire the right people, other actors and stuff like that, because people don't work for free. And some people will because they believe in the project, but it is what it is, So there's just no way with my size audience I can get a project like that started on the good graces of people. As fine and charitable and wonderful as everybody is, not everybody has money to just donate, and I understand that. You got your own life to live. And so I feel like I'm going to rein it back a little bit. I don't want people to be like, you promised us this sitcom and all this and that, and then you couldn't do it. And that's the only thing, is I didn't want to disappoint you guys. So maybe I'm going to think less big. Maybe this is a stepping stone process. Maybe the show, as I really imagine it, might not happen for 5 years. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, we just slightly build on what already exists and try new things. I don't know. Incandescent 01 says, okay, Magog, I can't stay for long. Got to drive. But if you've only opened the GoFundMe thing, wait a bit. Advertise it a bit. You don't get it all now. Yeah, I know. That's what I just finished talking about. This isn't about how much has been raised on the GoFundMe. I did not start this live stream to bitch about people not donating at all. Please do not misunderstand this. I just feel like I needed to explain that perhaps this project was a bit ambitious, because I don't even have enough money coming in from Patreon to pay all my bills. I'm going to have to find a job in 3 months. And if I can't even pay all of my bills with what I make on Patreon, how could I expect to do a show like what we're talking about? That'll cost at least $80,000 to get started. I just don't think it's going to happen, honestly. Some form of it will. Like I said, I think we're gonna shoot a little lower. We're gonna shoot a little lower. Maybe we just aimed too high. I got really excited about doing this like big show that had like such a production value that it was like really fun to watch and people would just be attracted to it, but maybe that's not the way this is supposed to be. Incandescent 01, as soon as I fix my own ship, I'll be more than happy to make a couple sock puppet accounts on Patreon so I can bump up the donation rate. I appreciate that, man, but don't go out of your way. Anthony Bailey says, hey, Magog, it's not much, but I hope this helps. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps. If it's easier for you to talk to someone than yourself, care to have a talk about what all you're going through sometime? Yeah, sure. I mean, I like talking to people. Speaking of, I'm going to check Twitter for a second, because I did invite somebody on that I've been promising to have on. Yeah, there. He's a smaller YouTuber that not a lot of people know about, but I've actually discovered his channel back when I started and didn't have very many subs, and we've been friends since. And it's just, I've been promising to have him on the show and just talk and stuff. And we're even talking about doing, because he does a character. we're even talking about doing like a stream together once a month in character, and he's an interesting guy, and the only reason I haven't done a collab with him or anything is because his character is like a mad scientist, and that is totally outside the realm of the whole fantasy thing. But we're gonna figure out a way to like have the dimension rift to open. Like maybe he opens it from one side and I open it from the other, and we just attack each other or something. You know, you're much better doing this slowly and building as you go. And once again, there's wood on that land to build things from, says Victor Rand. Yeah, except I don't want to build. I don't want to build anything on the pine that's on my land. You guys, if you saw my land, and I do plan on taking a camera out there, maybe doing like a live stream, like walking around, like, you know, what do they do on like Instagram or whatever, or Twitter? I thought about doing that so you guys could see the property. And I might do that next weekend after the rain passes by. But right now it's fucking pouring off and on, scattered thunderstorms heading our way because that fucking hurricane is landing down there in Mississippi. And it's pushing a bunch of rain our way. You'll get more money with the live stream, says Incandescent One. Maybe. The thing is, Sidequest is my biggest show, and I'm really looking forward to that. I cannot wait, especially with the 2 new co-hosts. And I think it's going to be fun. But the thing is, with 4 people, 3 co-hosts, any money I get, I split with them because that's just good business. So I actually don't see a lot of money from live streams. You know, I really don't. I just, because we end up splitting it pretty evenly, we end up, you know, I end up getting a quarter of the total, you know. Arcater!
Good evening.
My man. This is everybody. This is Alias Arcater. Director Arcater now.
Yes, thank you. I've gone through great pains to get rid of that alias.
I'm liking the new black and white setup like we talked about. Very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Some refinement is called for, but this is a good start, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I even like that your glasses or your goggles, they reflect, but they don't reflect like your computer screen or anything. That's pretty cool. How'd you pull that off?
Well, it's just a small little trick of the eyes.
It's those fucking, they have the eyes inside of them. That's funny. You do realize this was an outer character thing. I did mention that in my message, right?
Yes, like, yes. I'm just being incredibly weird. Yeah. Yes, I'm in fact Gilbert Dumbledore. Yeah. I'm not going to dox myself here. Someone else is going to have to do that.
Right. Everybody, if you, I'll get a hold of the link to your channel, and I'll put it in the chat. Everybody, check out Arcater stuff. It's pretty fun. He's still building, but it's a slow process. You go to his earliest videos, and they were, you know, he just had a normal background, and now he's moved up to having like a green screen behind him. He's just slowly building the production up, and I can definitely appreciate that. You know.
Yes, I'm a grower, not a shower.
You know, Incandescent01 says, oh, and before I forget, I want to see Magog get whacked in the side of the head with ye old bag of coins sometime soon as a Patreon special. I promised I would do that for you, buddy, and I will. But the joke has to be right, and I have to have somebody here to actually throw it at my face. And that's hard, because I film everything on my own. It's hard to hit myself in the face with a fucking bag of gold. It's got to come from off camera and hit me. And that means I got to get a friend over here to throw it at my head.
Well, you know, perhaps rig up a catapult on a string.
Right. Maybe rig up some sort of thing. Incandescent01 says, is that Tony Stark's dad?
I find that strangely flattering. Although I shouldn't, because it does imply I'm a bit old.
You are in the black and white realm, by the way. They don't even have color film where you're from. So just
where I am right now, anyway. Yes, that's true.
People are like, it's the random bystander says, no, it's his lesser known cousin, Baroni Stark.
That burns. I'm not a brony. I'm neutral on the whole cartoon thing. People enjoy it, that's great, but I'm still obligated to root against them in the 4chan Cup.
Oh, yes.
Every opportunity.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I don't judge people for their hobbies, but at the same time, it's not my thing. So
not mine.
But I can't judge. I dress like a wizard on YouTube for a living. So you know, what are you gonna do, right?
Well, like I can afford to be hostile and critical of everyone else either.
Right, exactly.
Man, you're all weird perverts and I want nothing to do with you. Why can't you all be fine, upstanding weirdos who you know, pretend to live in hiding and so on?
The good old days when everybody was a closeted something. Let me throw this in the chat here. This is Arcader's main channel. Everybody go check him out. He also has a live stream channel, but I'm sure you guys can find it once you find his main channel. Director Arcader, you know. You're among the people that I met in the early days where I was trying to meet people who did things like me, who actually played characters on screen and not just, you know, talked politics with a little cartoon avatar. And we've known each other now for well over a year because I met you fairly early. I still had, I think when we met, we had near the same amount of subs.
Yes, and I almost turned up at your place when I wound up in Texas for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I was in the last weeks of school, and you had other important matters to attend as well, and we just couldn't make it happen. But next time.
It'll happen yet.
Yes, exactly. What the fuck? When did Jimmy Neutron fuck Dr. Strangelove? Oh, my fucking audience is savage, bro. They're savage.
I've had the good graces of hosting on my chat King Jordan Macho Pickleson, so I'm pretty used to most of this already. I've been, well, that, and also I grew up with the internet. There's not that much that's going to get to me at this point.
Right. Angry Enderman says subbed, and Paramomal says love the Doctor Strangelove feel. I told you the black and white thing totally works for your character. Totally.
Yes.
Modern Medieval Warfare asks, are you in Texas, Magog? No, I'm in Arkansas. But where Arcader came to Texas, he was only like 5 hours away. So we were going to meet up. But just couldn't make it happen. He had to come down literally during finals week of school. Like, you had to come visit Texas during finals week.
Yes, and I was stressed. I did have to right then. So I assure you it was nothing personal.
Right. Of course. Yeah, no, we both knew that was amicable. I wanted to make time, but then I talked to you and you were like, I'm busy too, bro. Like, next time. And that's fine. Graham Riggs says, I hope I'm saying that right. Graham, or is it Graham? Graham Riggs says, subbed. And then the engaged few says, don't get mad. I subbed. And Casey Beardman says, I like this Arcader dude. See, people like characters. I keep telling people that, I think that's what YouTube's going to eventually have to turn into, is actual like on-screen personalities. Because nowadays people just are not as drawn to just voices like it's radio. YouTube is about the video aspect as well. And it always has been, but for some reason there was a massive stint there during those days that was like when YouTube kind of first kicked off, where it was like, I don't even have a camera, but I have a mic, like a gaming mic. I'll get on and play a game and then talk, and I'll be the voice over the game. And it just kind of turned into a lot of kind of more like radio podcasts, not video podcasts, Well,
this is one of the things I think Magog really nailed here, is that there's a lot of people babbling online, but there's not much to see. It's kind of visually dead, which is kind of a shame for a video-based medium.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Mind you, the voice chat, content out there isn't bad. It just seems like there's room to grow.
Right, exactly. You know, it's still, YouTube keeps fucking itself by making the decisions they make, but it is still in many ways a growing platform. It's bigger in many aspects than mainstream media. YouTube has more users and viewers than, you know, your average cable network, you know, like CNN and shit, especially for when it comes to news. But it's still kind of really like under budgeted. And that's why like YouTube, because YouTube doesn't really pull a profit. And that's why they're pushing this whole like, we're going to be the next television. That's why they're doing more original series, and like Cobra Kai came out and that was actually very popular, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what YouTube does turn into if they can get their shit together. But I really...
You mentioned the Cobra Kai movie. Have you seen that?
Are you talking about... Yeah, no, the show?
Yeah. Oh, it's TV series. I actually missed that. I thought they made it just into a movie.
No, it's a mini series on YouTube. They're trying to be like Netflix. They did like a little, you know, and you can watch the first episode for free, and then after that you got to get YouTube Red to watch it. No, I haven't seen it. Some people have, and they said it's fucking awesome. And I have no reason to disbelieve them. I just haven't had time to go over there and watch the damn thing.
I might try it sometime. I haven't been keeping up with the media either. Last thing I saw was The Magicians, and I'm still bitter about it.
Right. Sirius with Days Off says, are you going to be hiring people for camera work and editing for the show? It's something I'd love to get into. Yes. There is no way I can direct this show and be the character in it. I need to be able to see what the camera's pointing at and stuff. So I am trying to find the right person for the job that knows the type of camera angles I want to achieve and things like that, so that I don't have to worry about it. And then I would also like to get somebody who knows a little bit about editing to help out. The plan was to do the show, the Magog show, after the village is built and everything, and get all the actors lined up and everybody's ready to go and the scripts are written. The plan was for 3 months out of every year, we would film all 30 episodes. But we wouldn't edit them. We would film them. And then after 3 months, every week, we'd edit an episode that's supposed to come out that week. We'd edit it that week and release it, and then work on the next one, and then release it. Work and then edit the next one, release it, so on and so forth. That was the plan, because that way I'm only hiring like a director and a cameraman and the actors for 3 months. They're not having to come out every weekend and film and, you know, and stuff like that. It was going to be like a 3-month thing, and then release the episodes throughout the year. Which I think is a good idea, except for the fact that nowadays people really like the whole like Netflix release all the episodes at once thing. Like, even I love that. I do. I fucking love it.
People love binge watching.
Right.
I do anyway.
But there's just, with my size of project, there is absolutely no way for me to do that. Even if we filmed it all in 3 months, let's say if people wanted it all at once, they'd still end up waiting, you know, so maybe I could do that. Maybe instead of putting it on a website and charging, you know, $1 a month or $2 a month to watch it, instead go ahead and film it all, edit it, and then basically the last 2 or 3, you know, maybe the third month of every year, you know, well, it depends on when we film. So maybe just like in October, September or October, just release it all at once for $25, you know, or something. You know, that's to get the money back so that we can produce the next season. You know, like I've also still got, I not only have to raise money for the show, but I also have to make money off of it. You know, hopefully off of ads and stuff like that, but also from like maybe a subscription fee, or maybe I can offer it for free, but I can sell it. Maybe I can sell like special DVD release of it that people can buy and get like behind the scenes and blooper reels and all that stuff. I don't know yet.
CD backups, that should be great, because people don't necessarily want to dig up the episodes off the internet later on.
Right.
And people like these. They're gonna want to find ways to support it.
Right. Incandescent 01 says, well, the shedding starlight needs to get going. I'm en route to didn't do sector with several containers and nothing. I'll keep an ear to you, but can't chat anymore. Have fun with Stark's dad.
Stay frosty.
Drive safe, fly safe, whatever. So what's the backstory on Jimmy Strangelove anyway? You might as well just change your name now.
Well, I can't go to Jimmy Strangelove, and I have to say I am impressed with the creativity of these alternatives. It's a wide variety here so far, but I'm committed. I'm going to drive this Director Archer thing right into the ground. Sort of.
Right. Heavy Fisted actually asked a very interesting question. Do you think there's a chance you will see an uptick in your live stream viewership numbers with the fallouts in the skeptic and IBS communities over the last few months? IBS meaning Internet Blood Sports.
I assumed you didn't mean irritable bowel syndrome. That was the most unfortunate acronym I've seen in popular media lately.
Right? I'm an IBS fan. You're a fan of shitting yourself? like I don't what? I don't know. I that's a hard question to answer because people are looking for something to watch. People are looking for entertainment, and I'm hoping Sidequest becomes fairly popular. I'm trying to hedge my bets on it, not just for me, but for my co-hosts. But people also have to know it exists. They have to find the channel and sub to it. People have to share the video. People have to see it. It's not just about, oh, now there's nothing to watch. Now the Kumite is over. It's more like you have to, no matter what, you have to reach an audience. I'm sure if Internet Blood Sports was still going, there's plenty of people who watch Internet Blood Sports and the Kumite and Warski that would also watch my show if they found it. People watch multiple things, so I really don't think I'll see an uptick because of the schism in the skeptic community or whatever you want to call it. I think I'll see an uptick because it's a good show and then word starts to get out about it. Hopefully it's a good show.
The odds are good.
Yeah,
very good.
I like to think so, but at the same time, it's always hedging your bets. Everything you do on the internet, you're rolling the dice, Random Bystander says Arcater is mad science. Hashtag Magog merch. Yeah, well,
I like to think super science, but I'll accept mad science if we're going that route. Right. Certainly, I will be in the not too distant future. Spoilers.
Definitely. We talk about that a lot, how your character can slowly evolve over time and become more insane as he goes.
Because and I've got to do something with these clones.
T. Young says, you have fans here in Van Buren, Arkansas. We'd help out however possible. Van Buren. Wow. Hello, fellow Arkansan. It's probably, it's probably no secret by now. I live in the central Arkansas area. I'm like 20 minutes from Little Rock. Anyway, just kind of like talking with the fans, man. I don't really have anything specific to talk about. I was talking about the GoFundMe and the future projects. Honestly, what I got done talking to my fans before you came in, Arcater, was I really don't see this getting as big as I originally thought it would be this early. I just don't have the fan base. I mean, 26,000 is not something to smirk at as far as sub count, but it's just not big enough to do the size of show that I originally imagined. So the whole point of this stream was to actually try to rein back some of the stuff I talked about because I didn't want people to be disappointed that I couldn't do something. And I'm really paranoid, but maybe I'm overly paranoid. I think people genuinely understand.
You might be a bit over concerned that really, even if you work in installments, I think you have a pretty good chance of meeting your goals. You might not get everything at once, but you will get it all in time. And you have been doing great. Yeah. Also, I really have to address this flattery in the chat. I feel special.
What's that?
Sir Attribute Sanders, Hashtag Director Archer ASMR. Sexy science. I would like to do that, but I'm pretty sure YouTube would shut me down quickly.
It depends on how sexy.
Yeah.
You need to build like a 1930, like a from like the black and white, like 1940s, 1950s, like sci-fi serials. You need to build like a sex bot, but because it's the 1950s, it's like this big hunking piece of shit with like with like
modern iterations. We're not too far off from that.
Yeah, with like huge tubes for arms and like clampy claws, but it has like boobs. It's like, I will pleasure you.
Boobs is a bit much. Maybe we just take a bra and stuff it thoroughly.
Right. Yeah. Just put a bra over a giant cardboard thing with like gears and shit.
Water heater with a bra on it, some air duct tubing on the sides.
Right. Magog Morsecar live streams. Alfred Keith says, I'm into my medieval history. So if you want any advice only building the village, let me know. I have worked on Wattle and Daub build sand a little thatching. Cool.
Yeah, I've got a suggestion to move over to Pornhub to take my show there, so I can indulge this whole sexy science approach. I'm going to remember that. What was it? The engaged few. I'm going to write that one down.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Was it Minot drops a sign in the chat and says, "Wah! Wah! Wag!"
We've got a fan of the orcs. This is a Warhammer 40K reference.
Right. Adrian Blom says, "Hey, Magog." And the engaged few says, "I'll watch. You're cute." I think she's talking about you, Arkner.
See, whenever I try to do a live stream normally, I start sweating like I'm on a trial. And I'm really amazed that it hasn't happened yet, especially under these conditions.
Well, you know what? This is the first time I've actually ever had you live talking with me. And I'm glad I was able to expose you to a little bit of my audience so they can see how adorable you are.
Believe me, I appreciate it. And I'm blushing. You just can't tell.
Yeah, it's black and white blushing. The engaged few says, "I'm a dude."
I'm still flattered.
I'm still flattered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no way with that name, that internet name, there was no way to tell if you were a dude or not. But now we know, and he's still flattered. So no shame here. No shame.
I wasn't going to fly you over here anyway, so I just appreciate the statement that I am apparently to some degree attractive.
Yeah. Magog. Paramomal says, "Magog, I've got a child actor you can exploit to further your agenda." Sure. I'd imagine Morsecar has kids in it. I'd love to have a few kids running around the village in like little medieval, whatever kids wore in medieval times, I thought about getting my nephews to do it, if my brother will let me. I'm not sure he likes my political leanings, but
we'll have to make one of them say, "I'm not allowed to talk to strangers." The Elder Scrolls fans shouldn't miss that one.
Gordon Mayer says, "As an outspoken person on YouTube, how do you feel or think about Baring being removed from YouTube? Do you think that he violated the rules here or the pressure from certain people?" Obviously, I think it's bullshit. Nobody should be just removed especially for like spam. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, I don't know if he broke the rules or not, but I know it's bullshit. Because people have been going after, certain people have been going after Baring for a long time. And they probably had like a mass flagging campaign again. Probably had it. Christy Winters. Yeah. It's obviously fucking bullshit. So, Magog, are you and Beardy going to do something soon or in the future? Yes, of course. I'm just waiting on Beardy to get caught up. I mean, he ran into some problems and he had to raise some money so he didn't get, homeless. And now he's building his set and it looks fucking amazing. And we're going to start Sidequest in June with the two other co-hosts, me, Beardy, and two female guest stars that are unnamed at the moment because I want it to be a surprise. And then future collabs. And then eventually, when I do the big show, Beardy's a huge part of it. He's going to come down to Arkansas for 4 or 5 months out of the year and film with me. So, yeah, me and Beardy are like business partners in this. He's my sidekick in the main show that if we ever get around to ever doing it.
Yeah, it's a natural match.
Yep. Hey, Wild Fox up here says, good burger. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes. Hey! You don't think I remember that movie? Come on.
You might as well assume it on the internet.
Yep.
People don't give the internet enough credit for exactly how much it has actually helped equality, just by virtue of the fact that no one can be sure what the hell anyone else is.
And there is Director Arketer in the chat right there that I'm going to make a moderator. There you go, buddy. That way you can that way you can post your own channel link now. Keep spamming your channel link, man. Get some people to go over there and check you out.
Can do. But yes, please go ahead. I'll distract myself with typing.
Sarah Hatcherby Sanders says, Director Arketer live. If you need a volunteer, I will donate my body to science. Heart.
Again, deeply flattered, and I'll keep that in mind. It's not beyond possibility.
Nicholas says, you and Beardbarian can get gay married so he can move to the U.S. LMO. Laughing my ass off. Okay. What's funny about that is that was already a joke when we were talking about his situation. But as I explained before, even if I was willing to act gay in order to get gay married to get him a citizenship, I am not getting gay married in Arkansas. That is not happening. Even if I was interested. Even if I was interested, I'm not getting gay married in Arkansas. It's not happening. One, nobody would do it. I'd have to go to a state where they did allow it. And two, I mean, they do allow it now. It is a federal law, right? But it would have to be at the courthouse. And I'm not doing that shit. Fuck that. I mean, we have a gay community here in Little Rock. I mean, and probably other parts of Arkansas, but this is the Bible Belt. I'm not going to be like, yeah, that's my gay homo husband, Beardbarian. Ain't doing it. Wild Fox Spear says, LOL, this has been fun. Have you got a Discord to hit you up on? I do have a Discord. I just don't spend a lot of time on it. So I don't know much about it, honestly. So I have the link in some of my chat, like some of my videos have the link or whatever, but you won't reach me there. It's always better to reach me on Twitter for some reason. I hate Twitter, but it is the best platform. I have the most followers there, and so I'm on it. I'm on it the most, and I have my DMs unlocked. So even if I'm not following you, you can hit me up. I pay attention to the requests. Paramomal says, "Come to Maine." No, it's too cold. God damn it! I'm Southern. Magog should have a Discord. Actually, yeah, I do. Magog, admit it. You're a little gay. No, I really, really do enjoy the vag. Yeah, I will admit that I act gay sometimes for comedy effect. I have no shame. I'm not a bigot. You know, I'll sit there and go, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Look at that fucking hair. You know, but I'm not. I don't have a gay bone in my body as far as actual gaydom. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of dick.
You're just killing the your appeal to the intersexual community. It's terrible.
How I feel about gay people is how what's that fucking comedian's name? He wears a cowboy hat. Shit, I forgot his name. But he did this whole skit where he's like, my gay buddy come up to me and he's like, you know, you're a pretty good looking guy. You should try it. He's like, you don't just try dick. You try ice cream. If you try ice cream, you're like, I don't like it. Then you don't eat ice cream anymore. But I'm pretty sure if I tried dick, I'll never be able to have fun again. You know, I'll be on a roller coaster going, I should have had that dick.
I'm pretty sure this is a common regret from some people who go to college.
Rodney Carrington, thank you. Thank you, Fired Up. Thank you very much. Rodney Carrington. I was trying to think of his name. Rodney Carrington. Yeah, I always laughed at his stuff, man. He was pretty funny. Like, he'd do those songs, too. He'd get out his guitar and stuff. You know, his fucking titty song, Show 'em to Me. And all the girls in the fucking audience start flashing and shit. Yeah, Ron White. Big fan of Ron White. I've always loved Ron White, man. Well, I tell you, I loved his skit about Sears. Did you ever hear that one? Where Ron White was like, I took my van to the Sears tire guy. He's like, apparently they sent him to tire college. Well, he was sick on lug nut day. I drove my van off and took one left turn, and my back passenger tire fell off. It fell off. It fell the fuck off. That was a fun skit. Ron White's good stuff. So, Tatiana Whitaker, what up, Magog? What up, Tatiana? Show them to me. Somebody said that in the chat. If you hadn't landed on Magog himself as your YouTube persona, what do you think your other character would be? Ooh. I'm getting some good questions in the chat today. Honestly, I had a thought before I created Magog that I thought it would be fun to build a set like this one. See, the reason I kind of landed on Magog was because I do love medieval fantasy stuff, especially RPGs like Skyrim and things like that, you know? And so it just kind of made sense, and it's a world that I was already kind of writing too. As a writer, I was writing a fantasy novel, but if I could do it over again, and the magic made sense. How do I peer into a modern world from a fictional realm, right? Magic. But I always love the idea of being a pirate. Like, I love pirate stuff, man. I really do. I love reading about real-life pirates. I love pirate movies. I love pirate shows. Black Sails was fucking awesome. I loved it. You know, Treasure Island. When I was a kid, I watched Treasure Island. All the Treasure Islands, but definitely the one from the 80s with a 17-year-old Christian Bale and Charlton Heston as Long John Silver, you know? That was great, man. I fucking love pirate stuff, man. And I think I would have built a set that looked like the inside of a pirate's cat, you know, like the captain's cabin on a ship, and do like a green screen out the window of the ocean and the fucking... I would have loved to have done that properly and even have like the ship rocking, so stuff on my desk in front of me would like move back and forth. Maybe use some sort of magnets or something. Like,
if you could get a desk just on a rocking horse, just, you know, marry a wooden desk to a rocking horse and then just tip it gently underneath, side to side. You could pull that off fairly easily. Yeah, I mean, if I had a little bit more space and time to build some stuff like that, that would be great. I would have loved to have been a pirate, man. I would have had tricorn on. I would have had a fucking... Instead of Poe, it would have been a dead parrot instead of a dead raven. At that point, you need an ornithologist to tell the difference.
Right? And then to fucking sit there and just, "Guards, you fucking morons. I can't believe I'm watching this." You know, I'd still do the Magog voice, but it'd be a slight pirate tinge to it. Let's see.
What would a post-apocalyptic Magog be like?
Yeah, I just saw that. I pretty much Magog. He already lives in like a horrible place. Like dragons everywhere. People die every day. There's like barbarian hordes raiding villages. There's civil war and political strife. People starve to death. That's post-apocalyptic anyway. He'd just be Magog. Dennis Rodolfi Jr. says, "Butt pirate?"
By the way, Director Archer cannot be confirmed nor denied to have anything to do with the SCP Foundation.
SCP?
Oh, we've been over this. Secure, contain, protect. The thing that did that game in my first live stream that actually went
that thing
bad quickly.
Oh, right. I thought they were talking about something real.
Oh, no. It's definitely not real. That's absurd.
Bird Herd says... Magog, have you ever been to New Orleans? before? And if you have, what were some places that you liked visiting there? I've only been to New Orleans once, and basically I stayed the night with my girlfriend in a hotel, and we went to the French Quarter, and we had dinner at a cool restaurant, and we walked around and drank and went into all the cool little shops. I went into fucking like Madame Tussauds and fucking. I bought a voodoo doll. It's behind the green screen, sitting on my shelf back there behind the green screen. I bought a voodoo doll in New Orleans. You have to if you gotta buy a voodoo doll in New Orleans.
I think I've passed through New Orleans. I never actually got the chance to see.
You don't pass through New Orleans. It's like on the Gulf. There's no reason to pass through it.
You can when visiting distant relatives.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. If they live, one side of New Orleans or the other, right? I get what you're saying. It's some awesome stories though, and show how science and fantasy can be married effectively. Magog and Arcater. Yeah, cool.
There's a lot of fantasy material in the SCP files. I think they actually have a wizard locked up in there somewhere.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me that you could kind of marry those things together. And I mean, sci-fi and fantasy oftentimes go together. Look at Krull. Like, seriously, that was a fantasy, but at the same time, they had like laser weapons. Like, and same with Masters of the Universe, Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella as Skeletor. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was goofy as fuck, but if you remember it, it was like, yeah, it's fantasy because they used swords and they had armor and stuff, but they also had spaceships and laser whips.
Of course they do. I think Dolph Lundgren at the time actually had some sort of clause in his contract that allowed him to show as much flesh as humanly possible. Did you by any chance see Dolph Lundgren in The Punisher?
Yeah, of course. Big fan of that movie. That was literally the first like rendition of The Punisher. I mean, he was Frank Castle. The only difference is they changed the story. It wasn't the fucking shootout in Central Park that killed his family. It was the Yakuza. Like the Yakuza were the bad guys of 80s movies. Like it really, like they were the bad guys of so many Dolph Lundgren movies.
Yes, although I can't really remember any other movie featuring the Punisher that featured the Punisher spending quite so much time showing off full functional nudity.
Yeah. Gulf City Outlaw says, do you have flags or tapestry in your store? I'm going to work on that, but I want to do some new designs. What's on the store right now over at Teespring is just like t-shirt designs. But I really want to get some new artwork done because now Teespring offers like wall canvases and flags and things like that. And now that they offer that, I am interested in doing all new things. So bear with me on that. I want to do some new designs. Peter Built says, my lord, show us the doll. Talk about the voodoo doll from New Orleans?
I believe so.
Sure, I'll go get it. It's fucking right back there. Let me finish the cigarette. The Yakuza and Nazis, yeah. 80s was a lot of Yakuza and Nazis. Yeah, that's it.
No, who doesn't like shooting Nazis that are actually Nazis?
Yep. Of course I remember Krull.
Oh, Krull was fantastic.
Yeah, man.
And the entire argument there is that the science element was alien invasion.
Right, essentially. But it was alien invading like a medieval realm. Yeah. Because they were in like a flying fortress and they had fucking laser spears, That's what I was like. That's what I said when like I was watching Black Panther and they had like spears, like African spears, but they shot fucking energy beams. And I was like, Krull did it first.
That's true. We're kind of overdue for a movie like that. When's the last time we had a original, just completely way out there sci-fi / fantasy plot in a theater?
Sci-fi fantasy?
Anything like Krull. I don't think there's been a comparable film in last decade, maybe?
Maybe Guardians. that is a space opera, but it does have some fantasy elements like talking trees and sword play. You know, like, you know, I mean,
well, the sword play is an element of fantasy that's been
and talking animals. Even though Rocket was made by science, it still has talking animals. You know, one could argue
talking tree.
Yeah, one could argue that Guardians of the Galaxy is a space fantasy as well. You know, because of some of those elements, not all of them, but definitely had a fantasy storyline, plot line. The big bad guy had a magic fucking stone that killed entire planets. Like, like that's usually that's like the One Ring or whatever have you. You know, like really powerful artifact in the hands of the bad guy. Like
that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's a huge fantasy element in most. That's a huge fantasy trope in most, like, you know, fantasy stuff. Omegon's in the chat. Sup? Hey, buddy.
Hey, Megan, it's been too long.
I mean, you know, I know, man. How's it been? There we go. There we go. Just timed out Omegon there. A little revenge. Just fucking revenge. Motherfucker timed me out on the Drunkle stream. I popped in the chat over on the Drunkle stream, and he fucking timed me out.
What is the meaning of this?
Right?
Really going hog wild with this frenemies thing, huh?
Right. Yeah. No, we got a collab planned out too. We got to get around to doing it. You know, fucking been a while, man. Been a while. Let me do this clicky thingy. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah.
That's a fair point. Farscape did have a certain measure of fantasy element. But the entire thing about that is any sufficiently advanced technology is magic. Therefore, all magic is just insufficiently unexplained by necessity.
Right.
And you don't want to screw it up by explaining too much. That's where they went wrong with the prequels. Midichlorians, my ass.
Yeah. Science!
How you doing, man?
Hey, Omega, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Bit sleepy, but I'm all good.
Bit sleepy, huh?
Yeah, well, long day. How you doing, Arcata?
Hey, Megan. Pretty well so far.
How's your set?
Bare bones, but functional.
Congrats. Oh, that's good. At least you got something.
Oh, thank you. The big thing was the upgrades. I was kind of running on just ancient equipment before fairly recently.
I had a request in the chat, so I stood up and got my. There it is. This is the voodoo doll from New Orleans. And see, it's made with.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's made with Spanish moss too. See.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's your fundraiser going?
Not bad. I mean, I've raised like $800. You know.
I actually checked that before turning up. It's 930 plus now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yes.
It's awesome.
You're having a pretty good run so far.
Looks like a KKK doll. It kind of does.
Well, you know, if you live in New Orleans, you're going to make voodoo dolls to sell to tourists who are probably going to smash it or burn it or somehow lose the damn things. You probably don't want to make it look like someone you like.
Right. But yeah, we were talking about that, Omegon. Well, that was the purpose of the stream. I wanted to explain to people that it was pretty ambitious of me to do a fundraiser, but everybody I know that I talked to off air, like all my friends on the internet, told me to go ahead and try. And I just don't think it's. I wanted to kind of rein back some of my plans. I really don't think I'm going to be able to raise the money to do the show like that soon. I just don't have a big enough audience. So
time that'll change.
Well, you know, yeah, obviously, I really hope so. Anyway, let's see how YouTube fucking turns out. You know, obviously, but no, I wanted to reassure people that I'm not going anywhere, but it might take a lot longer to do the show that I want to do just based off of what I'm seeing right now. But it was definitely worth a shot, and I'm not mad that I started the GoFundMe. I'm not bitching that it didn't go to like 30,000 overnight or anything like that. That was not even the intention. That's why I only set it for 10,000, and I even think that was a little high. But it was just, I just know based on my audience and how many people I actually have watching and stuff like that, that I just don't think I'll be able to fully fund this show. So I wanted to kind of explain to people that I didn't want them to get their hopes up for some big grand adventure show that I can't even afford to do, you know, but I will try. I mean, it's going to take some while. It's going to take some time, you know. I'll still continue to build the show and everything. My only concern financially right now is if I don't make enough on Patreon in the next 3 months to cover all of my bills, I'm going to have to get a part-time job.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Always good to have a regular income. I have it, and it's always nice to know it's there just in case. Yeah,
sure. But I just, you know, I would prefer to do this full time, though. Don't get me wrong, because that gives me way more time to work on like scripts and artwork and do multiple shows and do more podcasts and stuff like that. Because I actually love doing this. I really found my calling. Like I absolutely fell in love with talking to people and doing podcasts and doing live streams and doing the show and being the character and stuff. I really found something I truly enjoy doing for the first time in my life. So
I understand your sentiment, but I maintain that you're kind of stressing yourself out needlessly. You've demonstrated a very solid work ethic. Your quality is excellent. I'm still sort of reaching for a percentage of that. Any show you do is going to be great. The only person it's really might fail the expectations of, I think, is, well, you.
Yeah, sure. I might be putting too much on myself. Don't get me wrong, but Tyan Lannis, is it Tyan Ranger? Is it Tion Ranger or Tyan Ranger asks, are you still going to do the limited run prints of the Magog painting? Yes. But that's merchandise. You know, yes, it was to raise money for the show, but that's going to come at a later date because I've got to paint it. And that's going to take some time. But yeah, I still plan on doing that. But that's, you know, that's no different than doing T-shirts or whatever. It's just a little more unique, you know. And it is going to be a limited run, so autographed and numbered prints, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but that also takes upfront money. And given my financial situation right now, I don't feel comfortable spending $700-800 for the prints up front, and then all the mailers and everything in order to mail them out, and the labels to print off people's addresses and stuff. That's a lot of money up front on something I have no idea will even sell. So, I'll when I'm finished the painting or drawing, it's more of a drawing / ink, because that's what I'm really good at is ink. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll see if I'm financially able to actually do the prints. So, but anyway, Omegon, been a while, my dude.
Yeah, it's been a while. You've been busy with school and making content. I saw your more recent videos and your new intro, which looks very nice.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm learning After Effects with all the spare time I have now that I'm not in school.
I do like that you kept the music though, because I quite like that.
Yeah, but I wanted to incorporate like a little bit more like the original.
Evolving it.
Oh, yeah, it's evolved, but it's still kind of the original. That's kind of what
it took a little getting used to the new robes. It took a little getting used to, but
those are temporary.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
No,
graduation robes.
I planned on wearing those for this month because
Magog
graduated from the magical school in Roomvault.
No, when I first saw them, I was like, "Oh, this is." Oh,
yeah. No, if you watch my announcement video for the GoFundMe, I'm back in the black.
By the way,
I noticed. Damn.
Should warn you. I'm not sure if I should be confessing this, but I got a pop-up about a few months ago in which I heard the Magog theme being played over a porn game ad.
Oh my!
Yeah, the thing is, eventually that song is going to go away because I want something actually original, made by like a musician for my show, because that song is Killers by Kevin MacLeod, and Kevin MacLeod just does like copyright free music for the internet. Like you're allowed to just use whatever he
I wonder
makes.
where that song came from.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a Kevin MacLeod song.
Maybe Kevin MacLeod will know where my outro music comes from because nobody knows where it comes from. Even the person who chose it, the satirician, because he's too drunk, can't remember where it comes from.
I'd have to hear it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember your outro music, not off the top of my head. I mean, I watch your videos, but it's not something that just pops into my head, you know. I'd have to go back, you know. Wild Fox Appear says, Magog lore. Yeah, that's coming too. But a part of the lore was supposed to be part of the big main show. I'm probably not going to do any lore videos until I move. I've got to have the studio. And when I build the studio on the 12.5 acres I own, I'm going to have a lot more space to build a few more sets and to get a proper art table. Like right now, I have this piece of shit from Walmart that's just sitting there. That's what I eat my dinner on because I don't even have couches anymore. You know, I don't even have a fucking place to eat. And so, like, this is the only space I have to do artwork. And I want, when I move, I plan on setting aside a corner of the big building we're building. I plan on setting aside a corner, getting a proper art desk and a light table.
See, we often go way too long without talking. And last I spoke to you before the last time, you were still hunting down a property. So I missed the update, I'm afraid. You have locked down a new location.
No, it's the 12.5 acres I've owned for years. I wanted something bigger because I didn't think 12.5 acres was enough to build the village and the mead hall and all of that stuff on. And the location of this 12.5 acres was not ideal. But after trying to get a loan and finding out that even though I have great fucking credit and I made decent money last year, no loan company would give me. I applied for like 3 different VA loans. And every one of them turned me down because I make money on the internet. And so I couldn't buy the 48 acres I found for $68,000, which is fucking dirt cheap for almost 50 acres. You know?
This is a suggestion out of ignorance, just for the record. But when you do set about building up, you might look into how various Ren fairs have been constructed because they probably have a lot of experience trying to cram a lot of scenes into a relatively small area.
Yeah, that's for like a thing where people go and they walk around and they have a good old time. The reason I want space is because I don't want the entire show to just take place in the village. I want to be able to have enough land where like Magog can go out on an adventure and it'll look like another part of the world. So I can build like temporary outdoor things like some elven ruins that I can put up and take back down and stuff like that. And 12.5 acres, believe it or not, is not that big when you're talking about the back end of it being marsh. You know, there's a low spot on my land that's just like fills with water. Mm-hmm. Can't do anything there. Can't build anything, can't do anything. You know. So and then you're also talking about clearing enough trees and stuff to have like a good safe place to film so that snakes aren't coming up and, you know, bite me in the asshole and shit, you know.
That's fair enough.
I'm still waiting for Omegon to come down and visit me here in Arkansas. Shoot some guns, man.
I was thinking about this earlier, right? I was like, I can barely handle today's heat, right? It was only 21 degrees, but 72% humidity. I could barely handle that. I'm thinking, if I went to Arkansas, I would fucking die.
Depends on when you come.
Yes.
Wait, you actually have something that isn't murderous temperature?
We have 4 seasons in Arkansas. Yeah, we get cold winters and we get mild springs and mild falls. I'm okay with
the winter. Winter sounds nice.
It's the summers, especially July and August, that you just don't want to come visit Arkansas. It's fucking god-awful.
I don't even want to be where I am now, okay? The wind isn't cutting it. It's just regurgitating very warm air.
Yep.
We have some suggestions in the chat as well.
Yeah, I see some signs. Let me get to those.
Oh, wait, Arcto, are you wearing new glasses?
This is a special occasion. I wanted to, do an eye reveal.
The angles are really... Oh, they're fucking... I thought that's what I was seeing. That freaked the shit out of me.
How do you say this name? Ecclesius? Am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying that right. Have you thought of getting volunteers to live on your site and build you the village bit by bit and recording it as part of a series for your show? not the living on site, but I definitely plan on recording everything, like do a kind of a behind the scenes and record it being built and all that stuff. And they go on to say in a separate super chat, I would volunteer in a heartbeat.
That's nice of them.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if the builders wanted to live like here, but I don't know how comfortable I am with people just pitching a tent. I'd be much more comfortable if you guys went and got like a hotel room or something. Trust me, you don't want to pitch a tent in Arkansas. You don't fucking want to do it.
I suppose we'll start with the shanties of the village first. Just throw a air mattress in there.
You pitch tents in Arkansas on camping trips for like a weekend. You don't do it for long periods of time. 1, the heat will just get you. 2, the mosquitoes will fucking eat you alive. And 3, something will get in your tent. Some wild fucking animal will get in your tent. I don't need somebody coming over here like, I'm helping Magog build his village. 3 days later, fuck, he's in the hospital. Got bit by a rattlesnake. Now, hopefully clearing the land will get rid of a lot of the wildlife, but I still don't. I'm not overly comfortable letting people just pitch tents and live on my land. I'm not running a cult here. If you guys have an RV or something, fucking drive it down and park it on the land. I don't give a shit. But have something more than just like a tent, so you're not sweltering outside and dying from heat exhaustion or something. Like I don't need those liability problems.
And yes, it's probably best to keep the blood price for constructing the village as low as possible.
Oh yeah. No, I've looked into that, and if the labor is done correctly, and the materials I plan on using to make them look like old medieval like village homes, maybe $3,000 a building, maybe a little more for the mead hall because it's huge, but they're not going to have like indoor plumbing or electricity because they're going to be used for filming. I don't have to worry about meeting codes or anything too because I'm out in the county and you can build whatever the fuck you want in the county. The Magog commune. Yes, Wikipedia snippet. The Magog commune. Baelish the Bard says they're building Evermore Fantasy Park in Utah, of all places, and it's a dry heat with frickin' rattlesnakes. Sounds about right. But everywhere in the United States, there's going to be something. Sometimes I do wish I could like live somewhere that there wasn't extreme heat and deadly snakes and spiders, but Arkansas is a cheap place to live and land is cheap and building materials are cheap. It's literally the best place to do a show like this at cost. Anywhere else in the United States, it costs me a few $100,000 to do what I want to do. But if I could raise $80,000, I could do this show tomorrow. Like I could start building everything, So that's just not good. That's way too much. I can understand some cancer kid raising $80,000 to get cancer treatments, but not me. People like the show as it is too. I've gotten a few comments on the video I posted, the announcement video, where people are like, "I like the show how it is. Doesn't need to change."
Eventually, though, it will have to because it will get somewhat stale.
Change is inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. People have to accept change as a part of it.
Right. T. Young says, Arkansas has open carry. No, we don't. No, you have to have
but my freedom.
No, it's open carry as in like you're allowed to walk around. You're not allowed to walk around with a gun, but you can have like a hunting rifle or a shotgun in your truck, like up in the window, the gun rack or something. Like that's fine. Like that's part of Arkansas law. But no, you have to take classes and have a concealed carry to actually carry a firearm with you.
We can't open carry on Nerf guns here or anything.
We voted for it though. We voted for it. People want open, like legit open carry in Arkansas, where you don't like Texas, where you can walk around with it on your hip and you don't have to have fucking anything.
Walk around with a sword around in Texas.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, in Texas, they're not going to be very concerned if you walk around with a sword.
Clearly, they have never come across this British man with a sword. We are quite deadly.
Right?
Yeah, well, a British man with a sword still tends to lose out to someone armed, a Texan with a gun.
Clearly, you've never faced the right Brit.
Yeah, British people are like, where I lack rapier wit, I have a rapier.
In fact, you just end it with, I win. Drop your weapon, bitch.
If only, but I'm all too aware that you're not allowed to have so much as a knife at this point, so, you know, I'm not too stressed.
No. They may not allow them in this country, but I still have an array of swords right beside me.
I have a bastard sword around the corner.
See?
I have slut.
Duel you at dawn, motherfucker.
The sword of ludicrous undertakings.
Yes. The sword of ludicrous undertaking. Slut. Slut for short. Casey Bierman makes a good point. Not just change, improvement. Yeah, that's kind of the point of the first 10 grand was to just improve what already exists. You know, help build the studio, get some better equipment, build multiple sets, indoor sets, you know, for Magog to interact with. I want more than just this one corner of his wizard tower with a window, you know? Like, I want to be able to have Magog sitting by his fireplace and there's like potions hanging on, you know, down and stuff, you know? Like, I want to build the entire like wizard tower or something, you know? Like, I want to be able to have breakdown sets too, like, and a green screen wall. That'd be really great. Like one whole wall, just a green screen, like just paint it green, you know? That'd be awesome. Vladimir Dragunov, because according Skalagrim, swords aren't classified as weapons in a lot of countries. I don't know what that means.
All I know is at this point, I'm kind of resolved if I ever meet up with a Magon to challenge him to a duel.
I already did. I was a bit quiet when I said it, but I challenged you first, bitch.
Fair enough. On the condition we meet in purpose, I accept.
Sweet.
However, you challenged first in that case, so I believe I have the right to choose the weapons. Am I not mistaken there? I could choose some interesting weapons, I'm sure.
Sounds like a fantastic date. Just buy me dinner first.
Dildos. Giant. We shall duel with giant rubber penises.
It's got to be the dragon ones. The
ones that shoot stuff out as well. If we ever show up at the same con, something's going down.
Vladimir Dragunov corrects himself, says according to. I still don't know what Skalagrim is, though.
Skalagrim. Actually, I do know this. Skalagrim is a YouTuber who's famous for showing off medieval weaponry and usually just smashing a ballistics dummy with it. If you're looking to buy something to have in your house to hypothetically hit something one day with, he's a great guy to check out.
Right. Cool. Sounds good. Wild Fox Pier says, I'll leave a comment later on. Take it easy. Yep. See you later. Thanks for dropping by. Mote, is it Mote of Labros? Or is it just Mote?
I think
Mote of Labros. Can't donate much money-wise, but can supply props. Yeah, we've talked before. Yeah, I love, you know, that aspect of it too, like where this show is going to be built by the fans. You know, not just donate some money to a GoFundMe, but people, like, once I move, I'm going to put my address out there and you know, because it's technically going to be my business address. And people are going to be able to send me props and all kinds of stuff, and I'll be able to build the show off of that. You know, people want to donate. People want to see their prop in the background and go, oh, I fucking gave him that. You know, like, I love that kind of grassroots thing. Like, this is not some big budget thing. Some friends told me, you know, I should pitch this to Netflix and have them fund the show and all this and that. And I'm like, but I don't want to do that. I don't want some massive company telling me what I can and cannot say or do. You know? Even though
focus testing.
Yeah, even though Netflix does allow a lot more shit than like regular cable and stuff, and they're not as like heavy, like ideologically driven. I think Altered Carbon is a fucking perfect example of that. But man, that doesn't mean I want that kind of thing. You know, I wanted this to all be in the control of me and my fans, and just, you know, it's like a grassroots thing. I get creative control over all of it. I get to write the scripts how I want them to be written. I get to do it all on my own.
And it's like when networks approach. I've been approached a lot by networks. I'm very reluctant to do that because while they want to protect the creator, at the same time, they will distance themselves if you say something off.
Right.
I can't be bothered with that.
I much rather like the idea of having my own website that features the sitcom, because there's no way I'm putting the sitcom on YouTube. Can't. The way I want to write the sitcom, there's going to be a lot more shit in it than even the regular Magog stuff. Like, there's probably even going to be fucking, you know, Game of Thrones style fucking violence and nudity, if I have anything to say about it, you know, because because I want to do that kind of drama, humor, and action and stuff. You know,
Magog naked stabbing people.
That's hot.
Magog, can I get a wrench, bro? I supported through school. Of course you can, man. Of course you can. Yeah, it's not even that. Just if you guys want a wrench, ask me for it. I'll try to get you when I see it. Before
the wrenches descend and take you out.
Right. Everybody has a wrench, then nobody has a wrench.
Why do you think I did to Magog on Drunkle's stream? Because he didn't have one.
Yep.
Worth it.
Fucking timed you out too, motherfucker.
I know, I saw it was glorious. All this.
Yep. Waving around that limp necro dick. Okay. People are way too. It's very bizarre that people are reacting to that.
They want to see your nudes, man.
What does the wrench do? It means you're a moderator for the channel, which not like the whole channel. You can't do anything to my content, but when I do a live stream, you have more power in the chat. You can ban bots. You can time people out. You know, that kind of thing. When you have a wrench,
block them.
Yeah, when you have a wrench, you can block people and stuff like that. Now, you start blocking people without justification, I'll ban you.
Because you can't do it just because they're a faggot.
Right. Yeah. But if they're a bot, because I've had bots before where like this weird name would show up and it'd just be like N-word all over and over again, and then somebody would ban them, and then a fucking another one would come in and just be like nigger, 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 nigger. You know, like.
Have you been cyber hacked by the Russians yet?
Oh, that was the Russians. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, actually, I had that happen once. It was really quite novel. They somehow hacked into the stream that we're on and started renaming everything.
It's better than the stream I was on, where even though someone was using OBS, so the Hangout wasn't shown, a guy kept jumping in and out, focusing on his remarkably small cock, which had a cock ring on it, and masturbating.
That's always fun.
Only myself, Laura Bones, I think Miss Steam might have been there. We saw this, right? I think it might have been White Sith Male stream, but no one else on the stream saw it because obviously he had OBS up and all these images up.
Right.
In the Hangout, we got to watch a fat guy play with this tiny Todger, which had a cock ring on
it. I'm vaguely disappointed Miss Steam didn't tell me the story already.
I never heard that either.
It's not one I share very often.
Right.
We're honored.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I had a little message on my phone. It looks like my buddy who cleans apartments for me so that I don't have to do it is not going to be able to. So I'm going to have to clean an apartment tonight. Yay.
Yay, money.
It's not much. We're at full capacity now, so like I get one or two now and again, and it's like $100. You know, it's no longer a viable contract with as many people living here now. There's not as many open, and there's not many people leaving. You know, so it's not going to supplement my income very much. That's why I'm still trying to push the Patreon out there and stuff.
Money's
like that.
Money, though. So you may as well take it while you can.
Oh yeah, sure. But he owes me money because I loaned him some to help him out with something. And he was working, and the paychecks were just coming to me. So I was like, to pay down his debt. So I was like, dude, you want to clean this apartment? It's another $100 off what you owe me. And he's like, I can't, man. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's 10-hour work days, for him. So that's fine.
We just have a bank holiday and we do jack shit.
Right. Well, that's what I wanted to do this weekend, but I'm not going to be able to. It's looking like I'm probably going to have to go clean that apartment sometime this evening.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It won't take long. As far as I know, the lady that lived there cleaned it pretty good before she left, so it shouldn't be too bad. Maybe an hour.
So not a hoarding cat lady situation.
Yeah, no. I've had some of those. Oh, they're bad. Yeah, not fun at all. Those. But anyway, Gamer's Life says, well, gotta go. See you later, Magog and company. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what else really to talk about. I just felt like, honestly, just felt like talking. Like sometimes you just want to talk to some people or something. I just started a random stream. I think I've hit all the talking points I wanted to talk about, like the GoFundMe and stuff. I don't think I was over ambitious starting one. It was good to see kind of where I sit. I just wanted to let people know that the big show, like the sitcom with like other actors and the whole village and everything, might have to wait until.
Well, you're assuming a timetable for yourself that I don't think anyone else really is.
Well, I have a timetable too, because I also know how fickle this kind of business is. And if I don't continue to grow and evolve and change and continue to bring good content, if I stagnate, you die. Because that's how this business works. If you don't grow, you die. Eventually. Now, some people can sit around and do the same old videos they've always done for years and years. Like people like Sargon. I mean, he's got almost 1 million subs, and he does videos covering whatever happened that week, and he goes and does his speaking engagements, and he has his live streams, and totally works for him. But he's in the top percentile. Like he's in the top 1% of YouTubers, like, in our community anyway. And, so he can do that. But people like me, you got to keep bringing something new. You got to keep going. I can't just sit here and do SJW response videos for the next 5 years. It'll die. So the goal was to always grow, to always move forward.
Hopefully one day we'll run out of material on that point.
Yeah, maybe. I know that the SJW stuff is kind of dying on the internet, like on YouTube.
It's been dying for about a year.
Yeah. It's getting increasingly harder every day to find videos to cover.
Yeah, at one point there were videos I saw, like Andy Warski would do at least one video response a day, at least.
Right.
Doing 3 to 4 videos a day, like Monday Matt, but not the same subjects.
Right.
It's just it did die. And politics sometimes creeped. And internet drama is always quite funny.
Right.
You want to cover drama or not, as a third person to observe it, as it's quite interesting.
Right.
So you just diversify, you'll be fine, and you will, because you're not stupid.
Oh yes, you're one of the YouTubers I'm least worried about.
Yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at. Don't get me wrong. That's not what this discussion is. This discussion is more putting my fans at ease that they might take a lot longer than expected. Now that I've seen kind of the response to raising money for something like this, it might take longer than expected. But I'm still going to work towards that goal. Even if I have to get a part-time job, and even if I have to, expand little by little over the next 3 years.
Good. You're motivated. That's
good. I'm always motivated, man. I love what I do, and I don't want it to go away. So I'm constantly trying to figure out how to fit all this stuff together,
And I don't think don't write off people who maybe can't afford to throw big bucks, but enough of them throwing what they can or what they want to can make a huge difference. People will want to be part of this. Have clearly shown they want to be part of this.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like I said, the people who have donated to the GoFundMe, I'm eternally grateful. That's just, it was an amazing response, bigger than I actually thought it would be. I had my doubts from the very beginning when everybody was like, go ahead and do it, man. Just, you never know. Your fans will surprise you. And so far, I'm already surprised and completely humble. I didn't even expect the 1,000 that I have, raised. I really didn't. I didn't expect it. Because I know how people are, too. I know how people are like, this person's asking for money and that person's asking for money. You know how many charity streams go on and fundraising streams go on constantly? You can't just constantly ask for money, or people are going to just think you're a shill, or you're greedy or something, and it's fickle because it's their hard-earned money and they have a right to choose to be like, nah, sorry, and I'm not even mad at that, Wolfhead86 says, "Is Poe all right after he got smacked in the video?" Yes, he's fine. He's right back there. See, there he is.
I'm glad his head explosion was not as severe as it appeared.
Right. But at the same time, too, you know, like I also haven't been, even though I did a video announcing the thing, it's not like I've hopped on other people's streams and, you know, like I haven't gotten any offers to do a fundraising stream and get it out there. But I'm sure if it happens, I'd be happy to go on somebody's stream and talk about what I plan on doing and everything. I think it's just a really good idea, and I do want to work towards it no matter how long it takes, because this whole idea of actually doing a proper show is exciting to me, because I also don't think the type of show I have in mind has ever been done on YouTube. There have been other fantasy genre comedies and stuff like that, you know, movies and stuff, but honestly, I really love the idea of doing something by the fans for the fans. And just like, fuck YouTube and their rules. You know, fuck Google and their fucking censorship. I'm going to go over here and do this fucking fabulous fucking comedy and prove that there is an audience for this and that people really like it. And that the fantasy genre is not dead in film. You know? I mean, fantasy genre is very much alive in video games. People love fantasy stuff. You know, Witcher, Skyrim, you know, fucking even that new one that came out, Kingdom Come Deliverance or whatever it was called.
Yeah, so you have to play that one. That looked fantastic.
Yeah, and that one's not even like fantasy. That's actually historic medieval. Like, it doesn't have dragons in it and shit, you know? But like, people love that stuff in video games because it is an adventure and it is a realm that they can really pour themselves into. But as far as film and television, fantasy genre stuff outside of Game of Thrones has really died off since the 80s. Like, outside of Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, there isn't much in the way of the fantasy genre that actually ends up making a splash.
Yeah, it's been a long time since there was a Willow.
Yeah, it's been a long time since there's been real good fantasy besides, you know, Lord of the Rings or whatever. Because it's like, it's hard to do in a short format, too. Like, movies are oftentimes just a 2-hour runtime. It's hard to build an entire world with lore and complicated characters. That's why I think Game of Thrones really worked. Because it was a long-running format. You know, they could tell like a whole story with multiple characters and points of views and all kinds of events that happen. Where in a movie, they're like, I mean, look at the Dungeons and Dragons movie. What a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. That stuff was absolute dog shit.
I entirely agree, but Dungeons and Dragons, the Book of Eternal Darkness, I believe it was, or was Vile Darkness, actually quite a good film. I would endorse that. Not to be taken seriously, but you can tell that someone thought about it and subverted a few tropes. For instance, I don't think the hero of that movie is the actual hero. The real hero of the movie, you might especially like Magog. And, of course, tits.
You'd have to send me a link. I've never heard of that. Is it like a B movie? Is that why I never heard of it? It was like,
yeah, it was one of the ones that went, as far as I'm aware,
straight
direct to video
crap. You know, yeah. I like some of that stuff though. Yeah.
Yeah, this was no Wayne's Brothers disaster.
Somebody did bring up Harry Potter, and yeah, Harry Potter is technically fantasy because of the magic aspect, but it takes place in the modern. Mm-hmm. So it's like fantasy, but kind of not. It's really weird. You know, it's one of those kind of stranger. It's on its own playing field. It's honestly, I watched Harry Potter and I enjoyed them or whatever, but I swear to God, I'm watching it going, J.K. Rowling just took the basic idea of the worst witch and made it her own. But it's not even that original. It's about a fucking school of magic for kids. Like, that is the worst witch. Like, that was an 80s movie. You know, like, Vladimir Dragunov says, I didn't even know there was 4 Dragonheart movies. Yeah, after the first Dragonheart, the ones that came out after that were like straight to DVD shitfests.
Oh, that sounds like the Scorpion King all over again.
Oh yeah, even though that went to theaters, that was a bad movie.
Oh God, yes,
that was bad.
I go through some. I would love nothing more than to talk about films with you all night. But I've been up for about 24 hours, and I really need to sleep now.
Yeah, man, get out of here. I appreciate you coming on and saying hi, though.
Good talking to you both.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
Have a good night, Omegon.
Omegon, everybody. Yeah.
The IMDb and the
Yeah,
Hangout chat is there if you want to share it or not. I can also toss it into the main chat if you would like.
Yeah, throw it in there for the fans. See if they'd like to, see it or something.
Yeah, if you want an absurd but not actually terribly bad D&D film, it is one I would go so far as to straight up recommend.
Yeah. Sounds good. I might check it out. I don't know where to get it though. If it's one of these kind of off features, probably have to find it on like Amazon Prime or something, or download it.
And I've been asked a question directly by the engaged few. Wouldn't it be great if billionaires who wanted to be called patrons of art started commissioning movies and TV they want to see instead of buying old paintings? Yes, absolutely.
That is a very good point. Like, throughout history, especially since the Renaissance, the beginning of pretty much like the art movement was the Renaissance, right? Before that, paintings and art were done for religious purposes. And even during the Renaissance, they were. But during the Renaissance, something was invented called patronage, where really wealthy families of like Venice, people like the Medicis, commissioned and paid for artists to do things for them, because it was a way to show off their wealth and prowess and power, right?
And hypothetical good taste.
Right. And it created a whole like 1,000-year of people patroning the arts. Kings would pay for artists to live in their fucking castle and do things for them. Like artists could make a living by having a wealthy patron take care of them. So they didn't have to worry about anything but doing art. And then about the time that the Royal Academy was created and started featuring like actual galleries where artists could just hang their paintings and then patrons could come and buy the paintings, but they're not taking care of the artist. That's when it all kind of shifted to this more modern, like go to an art gallery, buy a thing, and the artist shakes your hand. Thank you for buying my painting. Back in the day, patrons actually paid for the entire life of the artist. Like they paid for their food and board and roof over their head and everything. And it would be interesting if, I don't know, some of these millionaires would actually get on YouTube and go, I really like this guy. I really like what he's doing. I'm going to give him $5,000 a month on Patreon.
Well, I'm sure that actually is happening for some creators. Just, it's not really getting to the small fries.
Right, of course. Yeah. That and a lot of these like self-made millionaires and stuff, they don't give a fuck about internet culture.
No. Internet culture is still this nerdy thing that I don't think a lot. Certainly, the old money doesn't seem to understand it very well. They hire people for that,
right? Vladimir Dragunov says, though a fantasy World War I, World War II movie sounds awesome, like medics, no healing spells, and enchanted guns. That's an interesting blending of genres there that's never really been done before.
Well, I shouldn't admit to this either. It's been done in anime. I believe there was this entire thing where a bitter salaryman got reincarnated as a magical little girl to fight in World War I on behalf of the Germans on an Earth where magic was real. It was pretty good, though, until I just lost track of watching it because I have things to do.
Right. Free Press is in the chat. What's up, Free Press? He says, anyone know any millionaires who like foul-mouthed wizards? Yeah, please send them my way. I think that's a niche market, though. That would be interesting to have like somebody like fucking... What if it's like a millionaire that you absolutely despise, but you love their money? Like what if Paris Hilton was like, oh my God, I just totally love your whole wizard get up. Can you put my chihuahua in your episode if I give you like $1 million? I'd be like, God, I hate you, but yes, thank you for the check.
Yeah, that's something of a... I'm not sure if ethical conundrum is the word for it.
Regardless of how much I love doing this and how much I love my fans and how much I love the character and trying to expand the world, ultimately, a massive part of doing YouTube on any bigger level than just a hobby is to make money. That, you know, that's pretty much what everybody lives for. It doesn't matter what job it is. I just found a job that I seem to be incredibly good at, and I fully enjoy. But it doesn't mean I don't want to make money. You know, I do. I want this to be a life that I can continue to, that I could live off of, you know, like a living. Now, does that mean I want to be a millionaire off of this stuff? No, not necessarily. But if I can make a decent living and save up enough for retirement to where I don't have to be Magog when I'm like 65, even though that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Like still be.
I think senior citizen Magog would actually be only more popular. You picked a great character for this. A lot of actors have to worry about, oh, I'm starting to get wrinkles. I can't play the sexy heartthrob anymore. You, the more crinkly and shriveled you become, the more plausible your character will be.
Right. It'd be different. Now that is an interesting thought. What happens when I'd like turn 60 and I'm still on YouTube going, what the fuck? Flying cars, really? You know?
By that point, you're a cultural institution, I think.
The Engaged Few says, Magog, you're at 1,131. Thank you for the update. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody. Like I said,
amazing progress. I think you really have very little to be worried about.
Like I said, I don't think I'll hit 10 grand, but if I can get a few thousand out of it to at least get maybe the newer camera I want to do when the studio's built, I want a better camera than this one. I want one that's an actual film camera, because it'll also be used to film the future outdoor stuff and the sitcom and stuff. And I need a camera with the proper, I don't think it's like megapixels you necessarily have to worry about, because even that fucking $800 Canon has massive megapixels. It's more about the filming in a direct format with a depth of field. And that's
also, I think for you are going to need a variety of lenses for professional efforts, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no, like that's the point of buying a professional film camera and not a DSLR. A DSLR has lenses and it has autofocus and stuff like that, and it's more for photography. It does video, of course it does, because I do all my videos on it. But a proper film camera, you're not switching out lenses or anything. It comes built in, ready to film a 35 millimeter look. Even though it's digital, it has the look of a 35 millimeter depth of field. Like it automatically has it. It's specifically built for film. But these cameras are thousands of dollars. You know, on the cheap, there's some of them that are upwards of well over 10 grand by themselves. You know, obviously I don't want to spend all that kind of money. Not if I can get a decent product out of a film camera that costs me about $2,500, you know. But yeah, like Sony A7S. Yeah, they're fucking fantastic cameras out there that is full frame, you know, fucking 35 millimeter kind of depth of field look, you know, so it looks like proper film, looks like an actual movie film, you know.
So basically the goal of the GoFundMe is at least to manage a step towards the show with a massive upgrade in regards to filming capability.
Right, because I'm building the studio regardless.
Yeah.
If I could raise all 10 grand, part of that money will go to helping, you know, getting the studio built. As in, like, my parents are building the building and all that stuff with the loan, but the inside of it needs to be built. Like, once the walls are up and everything, and I have my little apartment inside of it, you know, a little bed and a little bathroom and a kitchen, the rest of it's just going to be a big open space. I'm going to need to build sets. I'm going to need to hang lights from the ceiling so I can have proper lighting instead of these things. You know, like, they're good, don't get me wrong, but you can only do so much with them. They move around like this and up and down, and that's all they do. And there are 4 lights inside of them. They're really bright. You can turn two lights off or all 4 of them on or off. And it's like that, very limited. I'd like to be able to get proper lights hanging from the ceiling where I can point a series of lights at the green screen only. And that way it, like, the green screen is lit properly and it's not just lit from one side. I want to be able to get proper keying. I want to be able to do multiple sets, you know, inside that space that I can, like, move a wall and put a different wall there so it looks like Magog somewhere else. You know, that's going to cost money. That's not a part of the building loan. The building loan's putting the building up. I need money to make it a studio, you know?
I'd say you're making a great case right now because that's a very detailed vision.
Yeah. Wikipedia snippet says there are 4 lights. Star Trek.
Oh, I know. I caught the reference. Probably one of the most emotionally moving scenes in Star Trek, or with Picard.
Yeah.
Prisoner of War.
Yeah. Brad Young says an actual studio apartment. Yes. Like studio apartments are kind of a slang term now because they're just basically wide open spaces that have been converted for living space. So there's no actual bedrooms. Like usually a studio apartment has the bed right there upstairs, up some stairs into in a loft, and then the rest of it's just open. But I'm building a studio apartment that's actually going to be used for a studio, you know, like photographers. A lot of photographers live where they work. You know, they'll get a studio apartment and set it all up for lighting and all this and that, and have their models come over and they do their photography, but they fucking sleep upstairs, you know, and it's just like a big wide open building. And that's essentially what I am building. It's going to be probably 30 foot by 40 foot.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too, of course. I'm hoping that it, at least with the expanded studio space, even if I can't raise money to do the full sitcom, I can take this Magog, you know, the stuff that's on YouTube, to a whole new level of immersion, you know? And I do have to remember to peel off barcodes from the bottoms of things. I filmed that entire episode, and after I was done filming, I got out of makeup and everything, and I started editing, and I noticed it, and I was like, I am not refilming all this shit. Fuck it. I knew people were going to notice it, but I was like, fuck it. I'm not refilming it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I can sympathize acutely on this point. Not barcodes in my case, but there have been missed details.
Yeah, yeah. And I pride myself on my level of detail, but I'm only human too. I missed something. I did not think, because the cup, I ordered it from the Geek app. It was like $10, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It has a dragon on it. And it came with a tag around it that had a barcode on it. So I didn't think to turn the fucking thing over and look, you know, because I thought the tag that was on a string hanging off the fucking thing was all that it had. You know?
Yeah, I could do the same.
I learned a valuable lesson. Now I'm going to check the bottoms of things, you know?
I just lucked out with my choice here, because if there's a barcode on something here, well, I could have bought it.
Yeah, you're different than me, though. You're not in a fantasy realm where barcodes...
Oh, I know. So I'm saying this is why I lucked out on this point. This is a mistake I can afford to make more often.
Right.
It's other things, usually technical difficulties, that mess me up. This green screen I make use of, it looks better than it is. I have to be right here, right now, and if I go too far back, it all falls apart. I have to be standing somewhere else entirely in order to get a reliable effect.
Yeah. Honestly, if I could even build the studio bigger, like I actually wanted like a 50 by 50 building. If I could get away with that, I'd live in a fucking camper, because all I need is a place to fucking go to the bathroom, cook some food, and fucking sleep. You know, like if I had a fully functional 50 by 50 building with air conditioning and heating in it, so that I'm not burning up in the summers and freezing in the winters. Even if it didn't have living quarters in it, even if it was just a 50 by 50 square building that I could film in, it would be fucking brilliant. You know, you're just talking about a steel building too. You're talking about an industrial building. They come out, they pour a pad, they fucking put up the beams, they fucking put the walls on it. You know, it ain't even that fucking hard to do. You know?
You know, there's a service called Pods. They basically just drop off a cargo container at a given location. That might be a good shortcut starting out. Yeah. I'm not sure if they're operative in Arkansas, but it might be something worth looking into.
There's not much I can do in a storage unit, but the Engaged Few says, well, Magog and Arcater gotta go. This blunt ain't gonna roll and smoke itself. Have a good one. See you later, man.
Cheers, engaged few.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's others too. Like people are like, why don't you just build a tiny home and then build a big ass studio? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I've seen tiny homes that people have built for like $5,000, you know? But at this point, it's hard to get a loan for stuff like that because it's still such a new phenomenon. And my parents, part of this is if I ever move up in the world and decide to not use that property anymore, my dad wants the type of building we're talking about building to become like his shop or something that he can go up on the weekends and shoot guns and work on woodworking and stuff like that. So it doubles as kind of a future thing if I ever move out. Now, if I was staying up there for good, yeah, I'd probably build something completely different. But I have no idea if I'm even going to stay up on that 12.5 acres of land. Because what if I end up creating a show that gets really popular and I do make enough money that I can go buy a bigger plot of land with a actual like proper house on it or something, and then I can build an all new bigger studio and stuff. So we're starting out very small.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it pans out. I think the GoFundMe is going to really pay off already just for the upgrades you can make now. I really can't wait to see what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, man. And I think that also will probably bring this stream to an end because it's been well over 2 hours.
Yes, and I actually have some things I need to start taking care of on my end as well. So,
yeah, it's 6 p.m. here. I'm ready for dinner. And I do have to go clean that apartment sometime. Though I might wait till tomorrow because the only thing I can do tomorrow because of the thunderstorms, I can't film. They're just the thunder is too loud. The fucking microphone picks them up. And so people might get Magog a little late this week because of the storms. But I plan on going to my parents tomorrow. It's Memorial Day, and my dad's smoking some ribs. So I want some ribs. So what I'll probably do is get up in the morning, clean the apartment, and then just go to my parents' house. And then Tuesday, hopefully the rain will have passed by and I can I can film a Magog episode. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I know the weather's, if it's anything like Texas, there's no guarantee about anything.
Right. But if anybody if anybody wants to take my announcement video and share it, upload it, or whatever, it would really help me out, even if you can't donate. I really appreciate everybody who gave money. I appreciate everybody coming by and watching. Thanks to everybody who donated in super chats. Thank you, Magog, for dropping by and saying hi. And of course, Arcater, great to finally have you on, man.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. Anytime. Provided I can actually make it anyway.
Yeah. Go ahead and put your link one last time in the chat there. Everybody, if you like mad scientist stuff and and talking about modern politics and social stuff and movies and all kinds of stuff, Arcater does a little bit of everything over there, and he has kind of a fun character and a fun little get up. And go and subscribe if you're interested. And thank you all for coming by. And I'll try to do more streams in the future. I mean, I've got time on my hands. I love doing streams. I love talking with my fans. I'll do a Patreon stream probably in June as well in preparation for Sidequest. So patrons, keep an eye out on Patreon for a link because I'm going to open it up to people who just want to come in and, have a good time. And everybody have a good one. We'll see you guys next time.